The first spot I want to show you is located in the second story of two-story dorms. If you come to this room all the way to the left, you can get a pretty cheeky angle on the metal staircase outside three-story dorms. This is a pretty good spot if you want to catch players by surprise as they enter, and you'd be surprised how many people you can kill just by sitting here. The second spot I'm going to show you is located on top of the roofs of the storage units in the trailer park. By jumping on top of this car, you can get up onto this roof just barely. There are other ways to get up here, but this is the easiest one I've found. This spot gives you a vantage point into the customs office part of the big red warehouse. And if you run across the rooftops, you can actually get vantage points on the roads on the left and right sides. This next spot is pretty good if you want to camp either the Intel building or Elbow. You're pretty exposed from Elbow, though it's harder to see you from either the hole in the wall or Intel, so what I recommend doing is keeping an eye on Elbow, but having your ears open for any movement from hole in the wall or Intel. That way you can just flick to it whenever you hear something. This next spot is, in my opinion, pretty obvious, but you'd be surprised how few people camp this spot. Basically, just by jumping up onto this thing, you're able to quickly peek over the wall and shoot anybody coming from RUAF. This next spot is a pretty cheeky camping site inside of Parts Room on the Stronghold. You're able to get on top of the shelves in Parts Room by parkouring across these crates as well as this scale. This spot is pretty effective, as 90% of the time players will be peeking away from you, since that's a much more common place for players to be. And as you can see from the outside, unless you come all the way to this corner here, it's nearly impossible to look on top of the shelf without exposing yourself to getting your head ripped off. I was thinking about not including this spot purely because of how situational it is and how uncommon it is for somebody to come to this building. However, if you're being pursued or chased and you want a cheeky spot to hide, it can do the job pretty okay. What you're going to want to do is come up these stairs and jump on this railing. Then once you jump across this pipe, just run along it until you end up in that dark corner in the back. It's not exactly hard to see you. The whole point of this spot is just to get the first shot off before they see you. As you can see, with the light in that corner destroyed, it makes it harder to see up there. And they're going to be checking a lot of the more common camping spots, so this is just an area if you're being pursued or need to hide or something. This next spot is pretty good if you want to camp the USEC stash, or if you want to get a nice little cheeky angle out into the scav tower for whatever reason. When you jump up on this barrel, just sprint and then jump. Your sprint is long enough to make the distance between those two barrels, and when you're up on these lockers, you can get a pretty decent viewpoint straight through this hole and out onto the scav tower. It's just a really good spot to ambush people or get a cheeky angle. This next spot is for all the rats out there. If you want to murder anyone in Big Red without them having any freaking idea where you are, well, boy howdy do I have the spot for you. After you jump on this forklift, you're going to want to sprint and jump into the shelf, and then you have to press crouch as soon as you hit it, basically. And then when you're up here, if you lie down, you become very hard to spot and probably just look like another prop on the map. And this gives you a pretty good view over all of Big Red, but primarily over those stairs, which is really freaking disgusting. These next two spots are on top of the train cars next to the Big Red warehouse. They aren't very good at camping for rats or anything, as they leave you incredibly exposed. But let's say you want to get an angle across the bridges, or you're doing Shooter Born in Heaven, or whatever stupid need you have for a really long distance sightline on a bunch of players, then these are your spots. Keep in mind with this red forklift, it's really hard to make the jumping forward, so you're going to want to be walking backwards and jump, and that's the easiest way to get on top of it. And this spot gives you a slightly better angle on the land bridge over here. Well, I believe I've demonstrated enough cancerous spots that people are going to end up killing me from because I'm an idiot and suggested them to other people. But if you found this video helpful, please do consider leaving a like, and if you enjoy my content on the regular, please do consider subscribing. If neither, yeah, that's fair too. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and goodbye.